this is probably the biggest thing that goes counter to my previous knowledge of seeds that I've learned since I started gardening here at Mother Earth News. What's the difference between a seed starting medium and a seed growing or a plant growing medium?
Okay, so first let's talk about the baby plant when it comes up. We're going to take these are a pea seed. So this seed contains the germ, the hull, and it contains that starch, which is what you enjoy. If you eat wheat, it's that starch. That is the food for the plant to at least get it through until the first true leaves form. So it comes up, it forms those initial leaves called cotyledons, which look completely different from the true leaves. So this can get it through, so you do not need nutrition in your seed starting mix. Now you can put it in there. I prefer to save it. The reason why, so let me talk about compost.
Yes.
We love all the wonderful things about compost. One of the things in compost is the microbes. But if I'm creating a seed starting mix, I want to sterilize that. I want to heat it in my oven so all parts are over 160 degrees. Because when I'm starting seeds inside, it's 65 to 70 degrees. There's very little airflow. Fungus loves that. This fungus is what goes into your plant if you've ever started seeds and they get pinched at the bottom and they fall over and then they die. That's called damping off. That's caused by fungus.
Got it.
And they're most susceptible within the cotyledon stage before the first true leaves form. Remember, this is also when they don't need that nutrition. So more than anything, I want a sterile medium. You can buy them bagged as a sterile medium, or you can make your own. But the one thing I stress is bake it in the oven until all parts reach 160 degrees. If you bought a huge bag of seed starting mix and you put the rest in your greenhouse where it is in the elements, I would sterilize that before starting.
Now, when you say bake it in your oven, I'm visualizing a couple different things. Do I want like loaf pans where I can put a lot of soil in? Do I want like a baking sheet where it's kind of more sprinkled on?
I have a huge cast iron frying pan that barely fits in my oven. Or last night, I did it in my 2 Dutch ovens.
Oh, very nice. So it doesn't matter if it's just a little bit, if the soil is kind of heaped in there. It doesn't have to be spread out, as long as you're temping it.
As long as it reaches 160 degrees. And also, I don't think you want to clean that mix out of your oven.
That's true.
So definitely ease of doing it.
Oh, so if you have a convection oven, go ahead and turn that fan off.
Or you can put a lid on it because it will still get hot.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. What about, so we're still talking about our seed starting medium. What do you put in your seed starting medium?
If you buy it from the store, you're most likely going to be sold peat. Peat is highly unsustainable. It takes so long to build up in these areas. And then people harvest it, they sell it, it's not reused, it's destroying ecosystems. It's also a wonderful seed starting mix. I like to use coconut coir instead.
Okay.
Now, if you buy coconut coir, it's good to soak it and then rinse it because some of it can have a lot of salt. But it's nice and acidic like peat. It can be traded directly over. In fact, this issue of Mother Earth News in Starting Seeds Right, we also have an article on coconut coir versus peat moss written by Kenny Coogan, who raises his own plants in Florida. And he has provided several soil mixes. He has one for carnivorous plants, one for seed starting, that take coconut coir into account.
Awesome. And I do have that link down all the way at the bottom, coconut coir versus peat.
Yes, excellent article. If you were at all worried about the sustainability of anything you're adding, it's also one of the reasons I like to make my own mix.
Yes.
Because I have complete control over everything that's going into the seed mix. And then for my compost, because I never want to stop people from using compost. Compost is magical. I save the compost for transplant time when they start to need that nutrition. Carrie is asking, what do you put in your seed starting mix? Oh, good question. This is my mix. I have some coconut coir, some perlite, some vermiculite, and I also have some older potting soil that I sterilized. And the reason I add that, it helps it hold the structure because I use soil blockers.
And we have the multiple sizes, right? So
Exactly.
This is the medium size block right here. And do we have a little tiny?
We
These
have
are kind of dried out from used to have a plant in it.
Yeah.
But this is the little one, and this is the big one, and this one comes with a little insert. So if you start something like your true seed potatoes,
Right, which have
were
a
started
tiny,
in the tiny
seed.
one. Your brassicas, you started in the little tiny ones. When they're ready to transplant and you're ready to add that nutrients and compost, you just stick them right inside of the little hole and you go on with your day.
Right.
It's lovely. I like it.
And you think it's going to take time to make these blocks, and you realize it's way faster than you imagined.
Yeah. You would have to put soil inside of a pot anyway. You'd have to put soil in a container anyway. It's basically the same. Plus you get the good feeling of getting to put your hands in dirt when it's cold and snowing outside. Oh my goodness.
And here at Mother Earth News, anything recycling, that's what we do.
And you also recycled some of this potting mix. So this is soil, if I remember correctly, from when we were transplanting the onions and we were separating all of the little individual onions out of our little soil blocks and transplanting them into a larger container. There's a bunch of soil with like mold and fungus growing, and all you did was re-sterilize it.
I just put it in my oven and baked it and then reuse it.
Yeah, just using it over and over and over again. And they're starting fine. Thanks for joining us for this portion of our 1-hour seed starting webinar. Subscribe to Mother Earth News Magazine and learn more from the experts with access to our live webinars, video courses, and articles. Leaders in organic gardening, DIY solutions, sustainable living, and more come together to give you the tools to take the first step toward living wisely. Wherever you are now, you too can lead a more self-sufficient and sustainable life.
So I didn't expect to be as converted as I was, because
Yeah.
I've been starting seeds first in peat pellets, then I learned better. Then in seed starting trays, we're talking about $1,000 in equipment, because I start
Yeah.
about 1,000 seeds a year.
That's a lot.
That's a
She
lot.
actually does start that many seeds per year. I'm telling you now, there are so many seeds back there.